There's my mat. All right. All right, guys. So go ahead and just find yourself at the end of your mat. We made it to Wednesday. Feet together. And just go ahead and start rolling your shoulders. So my other fluffy kitty has come to join us. Here she is. Say hi. And take a deep breath. Good. Just find that length in your spine. I want you to take a minute and just breathe here. Feel your heels dropping into the floor as your fingertips lift. Pull your shoulder blades into your back, just like you have pockets and you're pulling them into your back pockets. Good. Take a breath. Exhale. Bring your hands behind you. Roll your shoulders open. Good. So we feel our knuckles moving down towards our heels, but pull your elbows like they're going to touch. Feel your collarbones open. Good. Release the hands. Inhale. Take one arm up, and you're going to just exhale over to one side. Now, don't worry about how far you're leaning. Focus on this space that you're creating right here. Inhale as the arms come together, and we're going to just exhale to the other side. Again, lift that rib cage off the hip. Good morning, Johnny. And inhale up. Good. Bend your knees. So I just want you to cave yourself. Just fold over your legs. Very relaxed spine here, very rounded. Just take a minute to feel your tailbone tucking in and pointing to the bottom of your mat. Your head's pointing to the top of your mat. Good. Bring your hands above your knees. And now go ahead and straighten your back. Good. So I'm going to pull those shoulder blades back down into my back pockets. Now I'm lifting my tailbone, and I'm trying to point it to the far corner of the room. My head's going to the front corner of the room. Take a breath here. So this is standing cow. Now tuck your chin and tuck your hips. Standing cat. Let it round. Just go as far as it's comfortable for you and come back down to standing cow. Exhale, standing cat. Good. Now you can keep your hands right where they are if you need to, but you're going to straighten your legs. See if you can travel down to your shins maybe. So now my back is straight. This is a standing extension. Take a moment to breathe here and feel the ribs between, so that space between your ribs and your hips. Take a breath. Now try to lower your rib cage farther down your legs. Exhale and fold. Good. So we're not that warm yet. So here in this space, we want to really relax. Just letting yourself hang. Good. Put your hands on the floor. Bend your knees if you need to. Walk back to downward dog. Good. So we're in this upside down V. So it's a V and not an arch. So see if you can really pick up those hips. Drop the heels, feel the lengthening in the back of your legs. If you want to pedal there for a minute, you can. Roll the shoulders out of your ears. And good. Come forward into a plank. So we've got those shoulders right over the elbows, which are right over the wrist. Draw those elbows in. Now, if you have shoulder or back issues, you can always just drop here to a kneeling plank. That just shortens the lever, makes it a little easier. Good. So we're going to lower down. Try to keep your belly off the floor and sweep up. Now you've got some options here. You can keep the elbows bent here. You can even just come here in this up dog. So every time I cue that up dog, if you need to be here, that's fine. You can also keep the elbows bent. That's cobra. Or get yourself all the way up, and that's up dog. Good. Push back. Take your knees toward the outside of your mat. Toes towards each other. They don't have to touch. And sit back. Child's pose. So the heels are trying to kiss the hips, so the hips are trying to kiss the heels. Reach out with your hands. Press your fingers into the floor. And take a moment to breathe here. Feel that expansion in your back body. Good, now just stay where you are. Just listen to me. Clasp your hands on the floor. So they should just basically be right above your head. Draw your shoulders down. And now just gently roll forward with your head. Put the back of your head into your hands. And you're just letting the natural weight of your body carry you forward. This is Yoga Mudra. Gently move backward out of your hands. Good, and come up to tabletop. Tuck your feet. Lift to downward dog. Good, and we're gonna step forward with the left leg. Okay, we're in this nice lunge here. Take a breath. Keep your right hand on the floor. Rotate up to your left. Revolved lunge, strong leg in the back. Need a little less, you can always put your hand on your knee. Good, get your balance. We're gonna unhinge here into a high lunge. Good. Try to get your shoulders right over your hips. Sink the leg and lift. So see if you can find this lengthening from your fingertips through your body, all the way through to your knee that's bending behind you. So we're not bending backwards, right? We're lengthened, but we're strong. Good, put your hands on the floor again, and with your right leg, just step halfway in. Good, and just fold over your left leg here. This is a split leg fold. Keep your weight pushing back just a little into your hips. You'll feel that in your lower back and your hamstring. And now we're just going to use our breath to switch. So step forward with your right foot, then step all the way back with your left and settle into your lunge. Inhale. Exhale, turn that, open it up. And get your balance. Come on up, high lunge. Again, as your back leg sinks, the pelvis is going to tuck under. Think about drawing your rib cage in. So it's not just the core, the belly pulling in. It's all of this drawing inward. And hands to the floor. Step halfway in with your left leg. Take a breath. Exhale back into your split leg fold. Again, just push back into your heels. You can always come up a little bit if you can't reach the floor. And bring those feet together. Back to your standing extension. Hands can go to the shins or the feet or the floor, but straighten your back. Let that breath lift your ribs off your hips and then exhale. So every time we fold, we want to feel like we're bringing the rib cage to the legs, not folding the rib cage into the hips. Good, bend your knees, lift your gaze, and unhinge. Roll your shoulders. All right, guys. So take a breath here. Good. Bring the hands in just prayer. You're going to take your right leg, lift it into single leg stand. Don't worry, we are not extending our leg 14 times like we did Monday. Good. Now you're just going to open your hip and set your foot on your quad. Grab hold of something if you need to. Sit down into this. So focus on this knee, your left knee. It's staying over your ankle, so it's not going forward. My hips are going back. You can hang on. You can come here. Just really releasing. Now, if this is too much, you can always set it across and just put your toe on the floor and just sit there. Really try to think about this release in your right hip here. That muscle you feel is called the piriformis. Good. Now you're going to take the same leg and cross it, so it was here, cross it even higher. Now for some of you, you may want to put your toe on the floor like this, but I'm still squeezing here. Or I can try to wrap. Now my right arm is on, my right leg is on top, so my right arm goes on top. You can give yourself a hug. You can try to arm wrap. I just finished weightlifting, so my arms will not wrap. So sit down into this. Good. So you should feel this more in your left hip. This is a strengthening move. This is eagle pose. Good. Let those shoulder blades separate. Good. Now we're going to let this eagle soar. So arms go out. Push your heel to the back of your mat. Try to get horizontal. If that's too much, look guys, you can just put your foot down and be here. Take care of yourself. Good. Again, draw the core in, draw that rib cage in, and let your foot go all the way back up into that high lunge. Inhale. Good. So now we're going to turn your back foot and take a breath. We just sink here into our warrior two. So those of you who do martial arts, this is like our long stance. Think about backing your shoulders up so they're over your hips. I want to think about my left knee here going to the outside toward my left pinky toe and not caving inward. And take a moment to feel your ribs and your hips again. It's easy sometimes to start sort of slouching. We feel the rib cage go toward the hips. Find that lift and pulling in. Good. Straighten your leg. Now kick your right hip out first. Reach out. Now we hinge. Now if you need support, you can put your hand on your shin. Or you can take it a little bit lower. Ideally, your weight is in your legs and you're lengthening your spine. So my left arm at the bottom, I can actually lift and lower it. It's very light. I'm just touching the floor, but I'm not leaning onto my arm. Good. Keep that breath moving in your throat. So you can put that, lift that soft palate and hear your breath. Good. Unhinge, you're going to turn everything to your right. Big breath in. And just take the hands to prayer. Sink here into goddess pose. So this looks like a middle stance. Good. Now find your spine here. So we tend to, there's something called the lordotic curve. So we tend to kind of stick the booty out. For this, you actually want to pull under just a little bit. So we shouldn't have a lot of tension in the lower back here. Good. Inhale up. Exhale, dive over into a wide-legged fold. Put your hands on the floor, and then just like a regular fold, let your rib cage move past your hips. Breathe into your lower back. And you're going to walk toward the top of your mat, so you'll have yourself into a right lunge here. Pick up your left leg into a three-leg dog. And if you need to stay with downward dog, you can do that. So either way, really try to think about your leg or your hips moving away from your shoulders. Long spine here. Good. Take your left leg out to the side. So I look like I'm in this plank with a kickstand. I'm going to let my hips sink. Relax your right foot into the floor and lift your heart. Keep your elbows bent. If you need to go to the elbows, you can. So think about your breath here. Try to think about your breath moving all the way to your belly button. We tend to breathe shallow, but we want that breath moving all the way down our spine. Good. Now we're going to turn this. So the mistake is sort of tucking your chin, like I'm putting my chin on my shoulder. I want you to think about trying to put your put your chin over your shoulder. So you're looking to your left. Just a little hip drop there. Good. Push yourself back. Now you still got my left leg out. Take your right knee out toward the side of your mat. Your right foot is going to be toward the center of your mat. Now, if you'll notice, I'm in line here. So my foot isn't forward or behind. It's right in line. I'm just going to sit myself out. Push your hips back toward your heels. This is a split child's pose. Good. Big inner thigh, lower back. So often when we're having tension in our back, it is in your back, but it starts at the hips. Because so many of our hip muscles actually ride up into our spine. So we always want to make sure we release hips when we're doing lower back as well. Good. Walk yourself up from this and shift that right knee so that we can come up. And now my hip is directly over my knee. Good. This is gate pose. Take a breath, lift your right arm, and I'm going to lean to my left. Now, we don't want the hand on the knee. Hand can come past the knee. I like to open my body here. You can also put your hand on your hip. But this is just like that leaning mountain. We want to focus on pushing the right hip out and feel that distance between the right rib and the right hip. Good. Now we're just going to spiral this all the way down to right hand to the floor. Keep your foot down. Lift your left hip. And just sort of drape your body over here. So just a relaxed pose here. Good. Now we engage the core. Pull that belly button in. Lift your foot. And reach out with your arm. We're going to take that left arm, pull that left foot in, reach back and grab it. Push your hip as far forward as you can. Make sure you're keeping your core engaged. Now, if you got this, see if you can rotate your sternum to the ceiling. Beautiful. Good. Let go of your leg first and come up to your shins. Good. So regular child's pose, we're about here. Now we want to take it a little more into the hips. So I want you to take your knees as wide as they'll go. Yeah, just really sit them out. My hips are still back. And then reach forward. Walk that up. And now we're going to do the opposite. Bring your knees and put them together, or as together that's comfortable for you. Sit back in your hips. And this is sort of like our standing fold, relaxed fold. Just really round your spine. If it's comfortable, drape your hands down to your feet. Head can rest on the floor. If you can't get your head to the floor, you can put your hands under your head. Give yourself a little pillow there. But really enjoy this lengthening of your back here. Just breathe. Good. And we're going to roll that all the way up. Take your left foot, step forward. Good. And just sink forward. Now we've been working on this where my stance is just a little wider so that I can sink into this center. And you can just relax into this. Good. Take your hands behind you and open up that heart. Good. We're going to lift this lunge here. We got one more stretch. Lift your lunge. Turn your back foot. Now, straighten that front leg. Good. Now, you might need to come up a little bit, and that's okay. If you do, just keep your hands off that knee, or you can reach. This is intense side stretch, big in the lower back. It's also really stretching out the hips. So go where you need to go. Stop where you need to stop. Good. Let your back foot turn to heel to the ceiling. Soften your right knee. Step into standing extension. Exhale and fold. Good. Bend your knees, lift your gaze, and unhinge. Good. Just kind of reset at the top here. Roll your shoulders. And bring the hands up with a breath. And we're going to settle into prayer. And when you are ready, take that left leg up and across. Oh, single leg stand first. I almost forgot. Single leg stand, so getting our balance. And now we open it and sit into your single leg chair. Now, just because you did a full single leg chair on the other side, doesn't mean you have to on this side. If it feels better on this side, maybe your balance, whatever, you can always put that foot down. So we don't have to do exactly the same thing on either side of our bodies, especially when we have inequalities due to injury. Good, so we're standing up tall. Pick your knee up and squeeze tighter. You can wrap or you can set your toe on the floor. Left leg is on top, so we're putting the left arm on top. We're going into our shoulder wrap and sink. Good, so this is a flexibility move, but it's less of a flexibility move. It's more of a strength. You want to squeeze those thighs in. So we strengthen here and then We stretch at the end. Good. Open that up and kick your foot to the back. Good. Think about here trying to point your left toe to the right side of your mat. Want to make sure that we square off the hips. Good. I see you guys making adjustments. Very good. And let that foot slide back. Deep breath up into our high lunge. Good, and turn. Let's find that warrior two. So now we want to think about the right knee, pulling open to the right pinky toe. But if your foot was a rectangle, all four corners of your foot are on the mat. So don't let yourself roll onto the blade of your foot. Good, drop your shoulders out of your ears. Good, straighten your leg. Kick your left hip away first. Reach out, then I hinge. Again, stop where you need to. Hand here, that's fine. Do keep it off of your knee. And remember, we want the weight in the legs. That helps us lengthen the spine. See, this arm is light. Deep breaths here. Good, soften back to a lunge. And now we're gonna take your right leg up to three-leg dog or just downward dog if that feels better today. Push your heel down. Press those shoulders out of your ears. Take a breath, kickstand. So we're going to that split leg up dog. Modify this as you need to. Drop your hips, roll those shoulders open. So I know that you feel this in the front of your body. You feel it in your hip flexor and all that. That's all good. But I want you to imagine what you're doing with your spine right now. So you are actually extending the front of your spine, which is inside your body. Again, we want to keep the look high. Look over your right shoulder. Feel that left hip drop just a little bit further. And push back. Keep your right leg out. Take your left knee toward the left side of your mat. Your right foot's going to go to the center. I want to make sure I'm in a line here and just let yourself float open, push the hips back. And we're in our half child's pose. Or half of the middle split, however you want to look at it. Good, walk that up and reset that left knee directly over your left hip. Go ahead and get up tall here in your pose. Lift that left arm and we lean to the right into our gate pose. Push your left hip away. You almost have to let it relax. So you should feel this way at the top of your hip, right here in the iliac crest. Good, now we spiral, left hand to the floor. Leave your right foot where it is, but push your right hip up. and just sort of get relaxed here. Just drape your body. Good. Activate your core. Now draw a straight line. Lift that right leg, right arm. Hold. And we reach down, grab your foot. Good. We want to keep our knee pointing exactly where the foot was just pointing. Good. Push your foot into your hand, hip away from your heel. You can hold it here. If you want a little more, see if you can open up and look at the ceiling. Good, bring that back down. And let's do that wide-legged child's pose. So put your feet together and then let your knees walk out as far as they'll go, but my hips are staying back. So it feels a little bit different than a middle split. And then I actually, as I'm coming down, I want to push backward and down into your wide child's pose. Find the length of your spine here. Walk your hands in. And now reset, go as narrow as it's comfortable for you. Push your hips back. And now we want to really soften. So now instead of sort of reaching for the top of my mat, I want to get as small as I can and just relax. Now make sure your weight didn't suddenly go forward so that you could put your head on the floor. You're better off to keep your weight back and to put your hands under your head if you need to do that. Good. From here, release that and roll up to your shins. Take your right leg, step forward. And remember, we want to go a little wider so that we have balance. And just let yourself sink forward. Good. Now we're going to bring the hands to the floor. Lift your lunge. Turn your back foot. Good. And now begin to straighten that front foot. Just like somebody's grabbing your hips and pulling them backward. Good. Soften your right knee. Turn your back heel to the ceiling. Inhale and step in. Bring your feet together. Inhale, standing extension. Exhale and fold. So we should start feeling like that fold is lower. Bend your knees and unhinge. Roll those shoulders again. Good job. All right, take your breath. I want you to step halfway back with your right foot. Exhale, split your fold. Good, now you can hold it right here, or you're gonna pick up your left foot and point it, your right foot, point it to the ceiling. Shift into your left foot. Now, it's a lot of core in that, so if that bothers your back or knee or anything like that, just stay in your split leg fold. Good, soften that, step all the way back with your right leg. Turn your right foot, cartwheel up to warrior two. I realize I forgot the wide-legged fold on the other side of our last cycle, so we'll throw it in here. But go ahead and lift into sun warrior here. So take your right hand and put it on the outside of your right leg. Straighten your leg. Good, now we're gonna revolve our triangle. So listen carefully. Your legs need to stay straight and you have to touch the floor. So if you're less flexible, you may not be able to get all the way to here. So take your hand out wider and rotate where you can. I'd rather you be further out than be here, but then your knee is bent, because that's just a revolved warrior. So straight legs, and we're just revolving here. Good. Think about lifting up through the hips, pressing down through the heels. It's not the arm that creates the turn, it's your rib cage. So take a breath. Just imagine somebody gently turning your ribs here. Right, so you're not forcing it, you're just kind of letting your breath take you there. Good, let this top hand meet your bottom hand, and then walk over, and we'll just hang out in this wide-legged fold for a moment. Good, now keep your hands on the floor, but activate your spine. So yeah, so I'm gonna straighten my back, like someone's gonna put a cup of lemonade right between my shoulder blades. Bend your knees. So think about where your tailbone is moving here. See if you can sink your tailbone below the length where your head is. Put your arms on the inside of your legs and just let this sink. Good, now if you need a little more, you can put the hands on the floor and sink even further. So you do what works for you. Breathe deep in your back here. Let those hips open. You should feel this in your lower back as well. Good, turn toward the top of your mat. And we're just gonna switch sides, but to do that, we're gonna take the left leg back, downward dog. Step up with your right, halfway in with your left. And we're in our split leg fold here. So we're holding a little bit longer. Monday, we really moved. Goodness, stay in that split leg fold or lift that left leg. And again, you don't have to do what you did on the other side. Soften your right knee and back we go. Come up to warrior two. And we're gonna go right into our sun warrior. So find this length right here. And straighten your leg. Now we're gonna do our revolved triangle. Don't assume you're gonna be exactly in the same space. So you can always reach further away and then kind of inch your way in. Think about pushing that right hip up to the ceiling, press down through both feet, And again, it's your rib cage that turns. Take a deep breath, swing everything into our wide-legged fold. Good, now activate your spine and bend those knees. Sink into that tailbone lower than your head. Draw your shoulders out of your ears. If you're having trouble getting your hips lower, it could just be the way you're built. Try to angle out your toes just a little bit, and that may help you. Lift the hips. We're going to walk toward the top of our mat and step back to downward dog. You know, we haven't done a lot of plank and chaturanga today, so let's fix that. Go ahead and come to plank. Remember, you can always do this on your knees. Lower that lever if you need to. Chaturanga, that just means lower your body to up dog or that cobra, whatever you need to do. Now tuck your feet and lift into a plank. Good, if you're on your knees, that's fine. We're gonna keep your knees off the floor and we're backing up into a plank squat. If your knees are on the floor, that's fine. You're just gonna come here. Come forward into plank and chaturanga to up dog. Tuck, lift your knees if you can. Hips go back, plank squat. So it's not downward dog. Look, my knees are just an inch off the floor. Forward to plank, chaturanga to up dog. Pick up your knees. Plank squat, plank, chaturanga to up dog. Plank, plank squat, plank, chaturanga to up dog. You have one more. Plank, plank squat, plank. This time, chaturanga all the way down. Ah, good job. Reach your out. Good. Roll your shoulders out of your ears. Draw your rib cage in. Feel your belly button lift off the floor. Yeah, you may be the only one who can tell. That's okay. We're going to start with the upper body. Keep your feet on the floor and just lift your upper body. Good. Now, a common mistake here is we push down with our belly in order to lift the upper body. Keep the belly in and think about drawing your shoulders down, using your back muscles to lift. Good, release that. Now keep your head on the floor. You can put your hands underneath your head if you want to. Draw everything in. Make your legs as long as you can and push your hips down. See if you can get your thighs off the floor. And lower that down. Good. Now, you can do one or both of those. Here we go. Take a breath. Lengthen the toes away from the feet. The toes away from the feet. Well, yeah, but the fingers away from the toes would be even better. And lift. Bring your hands right by your side and press yourself up. We're all going to be in a cobra here, so the elbows are bent. And then push yourself up to tabletop. Knees right under the hips or slightly wider. And up we go into a cat stretch. And let that sink into cow. So cat-cow is one of my favorite stretches, but it's also a great strengthening move for the core because you're carrying the weight of all your internal organs. As you suck your belly up here, that transverse abdominis, so it runs like a girdle around your body, back to cow, is pulling in to grab all of that. And back down to cow. Having a strong core is one of the biggest gifts you can ever give yourselves. One of the, besides flexibility and balance, having a strong core is one of the best parts about yoga because everything you do works your core. Take your left arm and just extend it out. Now keep your hips over your knees. If you need to widen out a little, you can. We're threading the needle. So we're taking our right elbow to the floor, or you can bring your right shoulder to the floor. Turn your right palm up. Yeah, really breathe into this. If you've got those arms really extended and you're pushing down with your hands, you might even feel that right shoulder blade opening. We'll stretch in the rhomboid there. Good, take a breath and come back to center. Guys, move slow. Take your time, go to the other side. Bring that up. Now your hands are going to stay out. Keep your hips at your knees so we're not sitting back. Reach out as far as you can and then try to set your heart on the floor. So this is playful puppy. Feel those shoulder blades press down toward your hips. See if you can push your fingertips, especially your pinky, into the floor. Good. Walk your hands in. And we're going to good. Go ahead and straighten your legs. Good. And find this nice tall L here. Good. So remember, if you have a naturally posterior leaning pelvis, you're going to feel like your tailbone or your lower back are pushing backward toward the back of your mat. So if that's the case, put your hands behind you to create that lift. So just like when I'm standing, I want to have my rib cage lead the way. How far my head goes really doesn't matter. It's where my rib cage goes. Good. Think about pressing your legs to the floor. Go ahead and sit yourself up. Roll yourself back. Give your legs a hug. Good. Now, you're going to take your left hand to the inside of your leg. Reach across your shin and grab the outside of your left leg. So I'm grabbing the blade of my foot, not the arch of my foot. Then do that. Right hand across the right shin. Grab the blade. Good, relax your head. So this is similar to our standing stretch where we dropped our hips lower than our head. Huge hip and spine opener here. If you ever weren't sure if the hips were connected to the spine, this pose right here should answer that for you. You can rock this back and forth if you want to a little bit. See if you can breathe so deep that you feel your belly rise and fall between your legs. Good, put your feet together, then release them and put your knees together. Put your knees over your hips. Now we're gonna do this twist in 2 stages. So drop your knees and your body to the left. Good, now take a breath, and as you exhale, pull the right arm to the opposite side. Again, take your breath all the way to your belly. Great position here. You have no gravity pulling on your spine here. So you can really allow the tense muscles to relax, let the vertebrae separate. Decompress. Good. Now, as you roll to your back, I'd like you to keep your feet on the floor and just roll to your back. Then let your knees come up. So we're going to roll everything to the right. Arms and everything. Shoulders. Good. Then take a breath and exhale. Open your left arm. See if you can get it to the floor. Good. Again, keep your feet on the floor. Good. Now you can keep one knee bent or you can straighten it. You're not going to grab your leg. We did this, I think, Friday. Push your right heel to the ceiling. Draw your belly button down into your back. And you're actually trying to stretch your leg, but without assistance. So this is purely proprioceptive here. And then if you want to extend the leg, you can. Make sure you're supporting by lowering your belly button down. Good. Now what I want you to do today is bend your knee and put your right foot in on your knee. So it's like a tree pose, but you're reclining, or a half reclined bound pose, but it's reclined tree pose. Just let that hip and back release. Good. You can lengthen that right leg or keep it bent. And we're going to take the left leg up. So this is a core strengthener. Believe it or not, it's actually a back stretcher as well, because you're having to pull the belly down. So when I do a big toe hold here, that feels great, but I can actually just sort of relax my core. So this, you're forced to work that as well. Let the back and core integrate. Bend your knee to recline tree pose. Let that right knee just fall. Good, and from here, let your right foot come in, put your feet together, and then let your knees open, recline bound pose. Take your hands in prayer, right above your face. Now, as you reach up above your head, let your back arch. Yep, you can walk your shoulder blades underneath. And I want you to try to breathe so deep that your belly button points to the ceiling or touches the ceiling. Good luck. Good, and on your next exhale, bring your arms around, feel your back soften first. Knees come in, and now I want you to walk your feet wide and let your knees fall together. Good, and we'll begin our Shavasana, our rest pose here. This is a great position to let your back soften. If it's not comfortable, please go to another position. Rest is about restarting your day. It's just like shutting off your phone and turning it back on. We want a soft reset. Close your eyes. Just find that place where you can just arrive. Begin with your jaw. Let your tongue fall back into your mouth. Separate your teeth. Feel your eyes become heavy. Begin to feel the back of your neck melting toward the floor. Feel the weight of your arms as your shoulders spread out. Let your breath go between your shoulder blades. Deepen your breath all the way down to your lower back and into your belly. Allow your glutes to release into the floor. Let your hips open up and just let your legs get heavy. And just let your thoughts turn completely inward. Just sort of float around your body, anywhere that you need to go back to let a place that's tense go. Just focus that breathing into that space. Begin to feel your body in contact with the floor. And when you're ready, draw your knees to your heart. Just let yourself sort of be balled up there and roll yourself to one side. So we really want to try to sit up softly. That's why we roll to our side before we sit up. Good. And once you're seated, let your arms be heavy in your lap and just roll your shoulders. And on this last exhale, let your shoulders draw down and let your chin drop to your chest. And slowly let your head rise. Good. Take a deep breath up. Bring the hands to center. Good. Now I just want you to gently turn to one side and reach for the floor. So this is a very soft turn here. Good. Hands come back to center. And exhale, turn the other way. And back to center. And God bless you guys. Namaste. Great job. A little slower pace today. Hope that felt good for you. I will see you guys on Friday. I won't forget this week like I did last week. Appreciate you guys. Let me know if you have any questions.
Thank
How
you.
you feeling?
Bye, Mrs. McClendon. Bye, Mrs. McClendon. Thank you. Thank you.
Bye, guys. Great job.
Hey, Kelly.
Sorry, wait Monday.
Bye. Hey guys. I wanted to turn that light off behind me. I always feel like I have a halo. So you guys are muted. Hold on a second. Oh, can you unmute yourself?
There we go. Yeah, thank you.
There we go.
Hey.
Yeah. All right. So Johnny, do you know why you're here?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're here to talk about yoga.
Yoga. Yeah. Obviously.
So we're here to talk about leadership.
Yeah.
Right. So next time you come into the school, I'm going to have a vision sheet. So you know when you walk in where the cards usually are, and there's that big black board that says we are a Black Belt Academy. If you've noticed, there's vision sheets, and they're little, it's like a kicker, and there's little clouds. And what I want you to do with that is you can even do it at the academy before or after class. You don't have to do like take it home, but you can. It's one of the first steps to making a goal is imagining that goal, imagining why do I want to achieve that goal? What am I going to look like? So, you know, when you get to high school, you're going to pick a route that you're going to take for graduation, because there's different types of routes you can take. You can take courses that lead you to, you know, doing something cool like being an electrician, or, you know, but then you can also pick a route that's, well, I want to go to college, so I need to do this path or this path or this path, right? So you have to set your goal, and you have to look at what all do you have to do to get to that goal, right? And you picture yourself walking across that stage one day, right? And whatever path you choose, it's going to be worth it, right? Because you've reached that goal, all right? And that's what we say victory, right? In our tenets, victory is reaching your goals. So that vision sheet is for the same thing. What are you going to be like as a black belt? Okay. Now, of course, you know, you're going to be like doing really cool kicks, right? You're going to get to do, yeah, but what are you going to be like as a person? So, you know, sometimes answers have been things like stronger, a leader, someone who isn't afraid to stand up for others, more confident, right? It's different for everybody. Yeah. Now, here's the good news. There's no wrong answers, okay? It's your goal, all right? And then at the bottom, there's 3 spots where mom and dad get to put down, or any other family member, it just depends on what you guys want to do, but it's how would they like to see you? So I bet if I said right now to dad, what would you like to see him when he graduates from high school, right? I bet they want to see that you have good time management skills, that you are responsible, that you are courteous, that you, all of those things, right? So that's kind of the same thing. You're going to put those 3 things down, and then we're going to hang it up on the wall. Okay. And eventually we take it down. Sometimes we give those back to you, but sometimes we actually file them in a file. And every year in leadership, we have what's called goal setting season. And it's usually around between like Halloween and Christmas, somewhere in there, sometimes the whole time, because there's a lot of y'all. And we meet with every student in the academy. And we talk about, especially our leadership and master's club students, and we talk about where are we, like along my path, right? And what's coming next. And, you know, and sometimes we take that goal setting sheet out. So remember these goals, right? Because sometimes when we have a long-term goal, it gets hard, right? Sometimes we go through slumps where we might say, I'm not sure why I'm doing this. I don't know if I want to do this. But when we remember what our goals are, that helps us push through, okay? Because the more we learn to push through and not just quit when things get hard, the better we are at doing that. Because guess what? Quitting is a habit. And the more you quit things, the easier it gets to quit. And that's not always a good thing, okay? I've never met anyone who has quit martial arts who, I run into them at the grocery store. I have never met someone who said, I wish I hadn't quit, or I'm glad that I quit. What I hear all the time is, I wish I had stayed, because then they're, well, I'm a 4th degree now, blah, blah, and I meet people that, are from all over the world. I travel with my husband and, I trained when I was younger and I got all the way to such and such belt and, why didn't you continue? I don't know. I don't know. I wish I hadn't. I get that all the time. So we want to support you in helping you with that and keep you reminded of your goals and things. Okay. So the big question I have for you is, it's a roughly from where you are right now, about 2.5 years to your black belt. Okay. So are you ready to commit to getting your black belt? Yeah. What's one thing that you think you'll put in those little clouds? What do you think what do you think?
Like, trying to like do better with like the palm heel and stuff.
Okay, so you just think like one of the things you'd like to see is that your martial arts skills have improved. Yeah, I can almost guarantee that if you set that as a goal and you get to black belt, it's going to happen, right? It's going to happen. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like if I set a goal to run a marathon and I start training to run, am I going to become a better runner? Mm-hmm. Right? Yeah, you are. Yeah. So if you set a goal to black belt and you want to be a better martial artist and you put that work in, you're going to be a better martial artist. So, and once you become a 1st degree black belt, okay, the journey doesn't end, because that's when you get to start doing all kinds of cool jump spin kicks and, all kinds of stuff like that. So for leadership, typically what we do is 1 year at a time. We set like even though it's a 3-year goal, as far as mom and dad, like paying your tuition and stuff, we do like 1 year at a time. So let's talk about goal setting season. So, and goal setting season this year, you should be hitting your green belt, because that'll be like November, right? Yeah. So in a year from now, okay, so there's 5 graduations a year. So if you're green at the end of this year, at the end of next year, so next goal setting season.
Ooh, cats. Stop, guy. Cat fight.
I have 2. I'm glad it doesn't just happen at my house.
Yeah, we're watching 2 for her sister. She had to move out of Brooklyn because of COVID a month ago. So it's
okay.
They still butt heads. They're cool sometimes, but then they'll get in that.
Yeah. My daughter's cat is living with us. I adore her. She's the sweetest thing. But and then we had 4 here at one point, but 2 have passed away. Yeah. So they were older anyway, but yeah, Christmas Eve and then just a couple weeks ago. So so let's see, 5 graduations next year. So that means by the end of next year, so you'll be advanced green, purple, blue. So about 1 year from now, you'll be testing for the advanced ranks. You'll be moving up to brown and then advanced brown. I know, right? I mean, it sounds like a long way away, but this time next year, you'll be moving up into the advanced ranks. How about that?
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy, right? I know. To me, it makes it just seem shorter.
It's like, wow, it went by so fast.
Yes. I think it's kind of like when you chart out like the classes you're going to take, like, there's that moment where you go, okay, I finished all of my math that I have to take. And it's like a check mark, and so when you see where you're going with your belts, it really helps. So, okay. So you guys are coming in tomorrow?
Yeah, 4:15.
Right?
Perfect.
Okay,
yeah.
so we'll get that goal setting sheet. Okay.
Perfect. Come a little.
And then, yes, yeah, you guys can do that. If you're out and about today and you want to stop by and grab it, you can do that. It's called the visualization sheet. So, yeah. So.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Nice. That's perfect.
All
And I can
right.
set up
Well,
the payment and stuff then. Give a form.
do
or
what?
For as far as the payment, can I set that up then or not? Or do you have a form or something?
We can actually do that now. We can actually do
Okay,
that
yeah.
now.
I've got
Yeah,
like 5
I'm
minutes.
just
His sister has a therapy appointment, but it's right across the street, so I still got at least
okay.
5 minutes, so I could put it on. And yeah, I don't know, whatever's easier for you. I could do like last month and this month, and then do a monthly payment, or just last month and a monthly payment, or 3 months. No.
Let's stick with monthly.
Okay.
We'll probably do need well, we do need to take care of. It's not really last month. It's actually this month. It was due on the 5th.
Yeah. But usually
So
before.
right. So what we'll do is we'll just do this month, but we'll do it at the new tuition, and then you
Okay.
won't owe any new tuition until July. So
Okay, perfect.
let me pull up your account real quick.
Nice. Thank you.
And all right. And I think it's I think it's better if we stick with monthly, only because then
I can
if
just
something, well, and if something happens, we can always, so like, you know, if your wife gets a job and things like that, and we want to do something different,
yeah, like
we're not
yeah.
exactly, we're right where we should be versus ahead or behind, or you know. So
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
so let's go ahead and, all right, so I'm going to change this. I'm changing your payment. I'm changing that. So it is set to come out on the 5th of each month.
Okay, perfect.
Still okay with that? Okay, now we just need to put the card on file. So
Okay. It's Visa 4038
all right, 4038
3300
uh-huh
0082 4986.
okay, may I read that back to you real quick?
Sure, yeah.
4038 3300 0082 4986.
Perfect. Yep. And
Okay,
it's
and the
my name is James Handrinas Jr. I don't know if you need that now or.
yeah, I have to put that on that.
Okay, yeah, it's James. My last name Handrinos, and then Jr. That's how it's written on the card.
Yep. And what's the expiration?
8/22. And then the number on the back, if you need it, is 498.
Yep.
498.
Okay.
Mhm.
So, so we want to do, are we wanting to add, did we say we're going to add 25 for
Equipment,
enrollment?
yeah. So equipment, yeah. But that's the thing I wanted to ask too, because he has, I could even show you here. He has, Angel gave him the bag. It has the bodyguard, the shin guards, the head guard.
What color are they?
Can you grab them, Johnny? Grab the bag. It's right on the cat thing. He's gonna get it, and I'll show you. Because I'll understand if you have to buy the whole package. Because I don't know if it doesn't look like it's everything, but I'm not sure what everything is, and it's let me see.
When she gave it to me, I think she said
It may be older too, but this is the bag.
And I think she said when she
Yeah.
And I think when she gave it to me, she said there might be a couple pieces missing, but I'm not sure.
It's this helmet here. Whoop. There's the bag. This is the helmet.
Okay. So blue. Okay.
Blue, gladiator, like
Okay.
foot guards, a body chest thing, blue and red and blue chest
Okay.
type thing.
You're going to want a new chest guard because that
Yeah.
one's going to drive you crazy.
Fitted,
That
yeah.
one's really hard to put on.
Okay.
So, so let's do this.
And then there's shin guards that are Adidas, and that's it, I believe.
Yeah, and you need hands. So
let me see. I don't know. I don't even know what's in here. I'm sorry. I haven't even. We haven't.
that's okay.
To this point.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, these.
Okay. So, and those look like they're in good enough condition, and the bag looks fine.
Yeah.
So, so let's plan on, I'll credit you down the bag. So that's about $50. And then you don't need headgear. You don't need feet, head. You don't need head, hands,
For shit.
feet. We do want to get a new chest gear.
Okay.
And those actually are sold out right now.
Okay.
We're not sparring anyway, but that chest guard that you have to put it over your head and then tie it in the back.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So hard to, I mean, you can't do it by yourself. Like,
Mhm.
and the ones we have just buckle.
Mhm.
So, and he'll be a lot more comfortable in it.
Oh, nice.
So
The ones in the
we'll
back.
plan on, we'll plan on that. And then we'll plan on, the mouthpiece. You do need a mouthpiece. So
Okay,
we'll plan on
perfect,
that.
yeah.
Okay. So chest guard and mouthpiece.
Mhm.
And then you're going to need your nunchucks, your single stick. Johnny, you cannot use the nunchucks you have at home because, you know,
Those
they
are-
like to attack your eye.
Yeah.
No.
So,
Yeah, we have the foam ones too, but they're from there. They're not from this kit.
No.
okay. So we're actually going to knock that in half. We're going to do 200 instead of 4.
Oh, perfect. And then it will be 8 weeks. So I realized we said 8 before, but it would be 16, but that would be
Yeah.
8 months.
Okay.
I mean, yeah. Perfect. Yeah.
Right.
So if we could do
Okay.
the 75 now and then 75 a month on the 5th starting, that's perfect. I do have to go
Exactly.
in a minute though, just because I got to get her to her appointment, if that's okay.
That is fine. So I'm going to go ahead and charge that.
Perfect.
Your tuition will be taken care of. And then what I'll do is mark on the calendar when you've made that last payment.
Okay.
And I will personally change it back to your new tuition. If
Perfect.
something happens and like it charges you wrong, let me know.
Call you. Okay, perfect.
Okay.
All right.
Well,
Thank you so
Johnny,
much.
welcome. Hey, what size is your uniform real quick?
I know the pants are a little bit too long because
We
like
could probably grow
yeah,
into 'em,
but they like drag on the floor. Let me go get
Yeah.
yeah.
See?
I think he'll grow into it, I was saying, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
He has
Yeah, I
grown.
just, that way I could pull out whether we need a bigger uniform or same size or,
Yeah, I think the same size would work. I mean, he says they're a little long, but I notice he just holds them up if it's raining, and they tend to work. And he has grown like 4 inches in 6 months, so
that's amazing. That's
he
amazing.
grows really fast. Yeah, he's even lost weight in the same time. He's grown 4 inches since he's been coming there in basketball. It's he's grown 4 inches and lost 6 pounds.
It's probably like a 0 or a 1.
They're a 3 actually. He's pretty
A
big.
3, okay.
Yeah, 5'1",
Okay.
120.
Okay, so I will pull out a size 3 and get all your stuff together, and
And this is
I'll
3
plan-
also. Yeah, perfect.
yep, yeah, they should be the same size. I'll
Perfect.
plan on seeing y'all tomorrow.
Okay, thank
Okay.
you so much. You have a
Thank you.
good day. All
You
right.
too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Congratulations, Johnny.
Thank you.
Bye.